Well, good morning. Great to have everybody here on time for a press conference. Um, so, guys are off today, and then tomorrow becomes kind of our Monday, and we'll go Saturday through Tuesday as our normal game week, and then walk through on Christmas Day, and then game on Thursday the 26th. We've had, I think, 9 practices. We've had a lot of developmental work. Some Rutgers work. As you guys know, we also are limited in the amount of game planning, limited in the amount of time because of portal kids and kids being on campus every day. We've got kids on campus pretty much every day. So that's the balance that we've got to adapt and adjust to. We hope we get it figured out here in college football in the near future, but that's the balance, and that's what we have to do. So proud of our staff being able to come up with plans as well as spending the time with kids that are looking for school. So busy times around here for sure. We'll practice Saturday, Sunday, Monday before we leave, though.
The portal's still open, of course, but are you happy about all the players you're able to retain? And
yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is the players you're able to retain and keep here. And credit to those kids, credit to their teammates. I told them after Iowa State that we have a really good bunch of talented players here, and if you stay, I think we can do collectively some special things. And the core of our best players returned. I know that those kids are still getting contacted too. I mean, it is what it is, guys. It's not tampering. Their agents or contacting people, or that's kind of what goes on when people talk about is it tampering or not. It's if you have this number, will you get in the portal? I mean, that's where we're at right now in this business, which is unfortunate, but excited that those core guys have stuck together as a team. And we're excited. We're going to play a lot of young kids on the 26th, but we've got a lot of returning veterans that have played a lot of football that are going to play on the 26th. So we're excited. It's going to be a big challenge.
Just confirming, DJ and Jacob, are they not going to play in the bowl game?
Yeah, those are the two that I think those are the only two that aren't in the portal that are not playing.
So, Chris, this game's a little bit like last year in that last year you got to get a sneak peek at Avery. Yep. This year you get to look ahead with Dylan and Joe. Mm-hmm. What are you expecting out of those guys at running back?
I'm excited for those guys. It's their chance to get established. We know a lot of the things that Dylan can do, and excited to be able to showcase a lot of those things for him come the 26th. And then, Joe, we've seen some really good glimpses of him in the early part of the season, but with DJ, having the bulk of those carries, it's going to be a great opportunity for Joe to and Joe's a good football player, and he's ready for this. I mean, all the reps he's had, whether it's in game or in practice, have prepared him. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do offensively.
What qualities do you think make Dylan capable of being an every down running back?
Because he's so versatile, because he can line up as a single back by himself. He can line up in a 2-back set. He can flex out and be a receiver. He can take jet sweeps. He can run really good routes and stuff. And that's what is important for us. And that's the thing that I wish I could tell you what our game plan is, even though I wouldn't tell you what our game plan is. I'm not sitting with those offensive coaches. I'm not sitting with those defensive coaches. I'm with Clint Brown, and we're talking to kids, and we're trying to get guys to visit. I mean, everybody's doing it. So if you said, how are we going to utilize Joe? How are we going to utilize Dylan? Do we have any coordinator conversations coming? Probably not. Good luck then. You'll figure it out just like I'll figure it out on the 26th, because it is a challenge right now to get those guys together staff-wise.
That was my next question. How much emphasis do you put on ball game prep versus recruiting transfer portal this year? Is it 50-50? Do you lean one way or the other?
It's 20 out of 24 hours a day. And the other 4, you get a quick nap in. Honestly, that's not for me, it's 70% trying to continue to build the roster, and then the other 30% of, working on Rutgers, being around the players and stuff. I love going to practice because it's 2 hours where the phone doesn't ring. It's awesome, and I don't take my phone out there, so it's great. I love that time we're out there, but that's the challenge that everybody's facing, and it doesn't matter. I think of where we're at. Rutgers is doing the same thing, I'm assuming, but the teams like Indiana and Notre Dame that are playing tonight, well, I know they're looking for players too. Those are the ones that I really feel bad for, is because they're trying to continue on a dream season and playing in a CFP, try to move to the next round, and there's kids on their campus and stuff. It's wild stuff.
Some true freshmen likely to get some playing time with the departures and the NFL draft. Specifically, Zayshawn Rich and Jaquez Bradley Demps, who I think may see some more playing time. What have you seen out of them, and do you want to see them get a little bit more playing time?
I can't tell you what their roles will be because of the previous conversation we've had, but it's been fun to watch those kids the last 9 practices. You look at those two, and as well as a bunch of other younger players, continue to get reps and grow, battle against each other, and play K-State versus K-State and not worry about what's the game plan prep and stuff. That's been the most fun stuff, is for us to just, after we do a little bit of Rutgers prep and we pause it and say, all right, young guys or developmental guys, let's just go K-State, we'll go choice downs, we'll go red zone, we'll go third down. It's just been fun watching all those guys compete, and I don't know where they're at in the game plan part of it, but excited about them in their future.
On signing day, I know we talked about junior college players, and obviously recently there was the ruling in the Diego Pavia case. As someone who recruits junior colleges semi-heavily, what are your thoughts on that?
Boy, I was on Big 12 the other day, and I said if you got till noon, we could go through all this stuff. I don't have till 3 o'clock with you guys, unfortunately. There's a lot of thoughts I have on it, but I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's an isolated case. If it is, it's going to spur other cases to come up. I don't have a clue what's going on. I know guys like Uso asked, hey, do I get another year? I don't know. I mean, great question. I don't have an answer for you. We just need to have is like litigators up here and bring compliance in here and ask those guys the questions, because I don't have any of those answers, and I don't think they do either. But you're great question. No answer for you, unfortunately, other than that one case is going to streamline a whole bunch of other ones that are going to come through, and that's part of roster management that we weren't anticipating. But those kids have a chance, and there's a handful that we have that, are they going to get another year? We better figure it out in a hurry.
As of now, yes. But
yeah.
So I know you only moved up to this level in 19, so you don't have a long bowl history. But even in your 6 years here, and this will be your 5th bowl, do you feel, because of the portal and now the expansion of the playoff, that the entire role of bowl games is kind of altering a little bit?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not changing my purpose, because that's the purpose that I know of. Is there's a bunch of guys that chose to be at K-State and want to be at K-State, that it's a great opportunity that other schools don't have to practice those guys and to continue to develop those guys. And a lot of those guys were on scout team for the whole season. Now they get a bunch of practices where they're getting to play and they're getting to be coached, not as a scout team, but as a K-State football player. That's still the best part of this bowl prep that we have. And I say bowl prep, now begins Saturday. Bowl prep kind of turns over to game prep. And so we'll still do a little bit of bowl prep with those young guys, but now it's got to turn over to game prep for us to have a great opportunity to play a really good Rutgers team and send out these seniors hopefully the way that they should be sent out with a big win. And that's something that's really important to those guys. But I think there's a lot of those conversations. Fitz, I don't know when those conversations are going to be had, but they need to be had and pretty quickly. I know you're going to stump me and try to stump me. I don't know if I have many answers for you.
I know. I don't even know what to ask at this
I
point.
know you don't.
Let me ask you a really important question. The Ray Bowl put out a tweet today showing a white K-State helmet in it.
Any other questions? I tried to get a lavender, couldn't get it in time. And I had one ready for you.
Important questions.
Okay, I had one ready for you, but no. I talked to just a couple of the older guys that are going to play their last game, and asked them their opinion on it. I know you've got more opinions that I want to know about it, that I care to know about it. But it was then I had the idea, went to a few of those older guys and said, let's do this. And so what are we wearing?
White helmets.
Okay, white helmets.
Are you the visiting team?
No, we are the home team. So we're wearing white helmets and white pants with our purple jerseys.
Okay, well, that's it for the press conference. Thanks for coming.
I was going to say that I knew we'd get something on the portal, and then Kenny said, you're probably going to get something on uniforms. And then when I didn't see you in here when this press conference started at 11, I thought, good, I'm off the hook. And then I waited till 11:02, and here you rolled in, and I knew that was on the – you were trying to think of a way to ask the question.
But speaking of the portal, how much work do you have still? What still are you looking for?
I'm not going to go into specific positions. I don't want to do that, but we still have work to do. We've got a lot of kids on campus today, a lot of kids on campus tomorrow, kids on campus Sunday, and then they have to be off campus. But we have, let's just say, a really full weekend of kids here, and then the bowl game, and then I think it starts back up. I know it starts back up, I think, from a quiet period January 1st through about the 11th or so, that you still could have kids on campus. Maybe the benefit that K-State has is we don't start school till later in January. So my anticipation is that we'll have potential kids on campus that first couple weeks of January that are still trying to figure it out.
Evaluating a kid in the portal go? Like when somebody jumps in, do you look up a YouTube clip and, oh, looks good? How's that?
It's a lot more sophisticated than that, but there's a system that all the coaches have that you can pull up everybody's film, and you can pull up clips, you can pull up, pass catches, run blocks, you can pull up tackles, passes, defense, you can do everything. And then that's the thing, that it's a pretty quick evaluation. But it goes through a process, from scouting to position coach to coordinator to myself to the recruiting office to get them booked and stuff. That's why I'm telling you it's hard to get game plans continuing on, because there's a lot of time that we're being pulled away, which we have to be because of the landscape of college football, and we need to move this portal window, period. We all know it, because it doesn't match with the season's not over with yet.
Wanted to ask you, with the depth chart that came out, there were a couple of
I haven't seen it.
a couple of guys that were on there at the end of the season that are still on the roster. Do you have some injuries or some guys that are going to be out? Or
give me you've got a specific somewhere in there, because I don't know.
I think Pastore and Colby McAllister were a couple.
Both kids have had a surgery and are out, but will be back for whether it's spring ball or whatever the next thing on the calendar is. But they will, neither one, glad you brought that up, Arnie. Both Pastore and Colby will not play. A part of the program, still on the team, but we elected to have surgery with those guys so that we could get that process going.
And also with do you anticipate signing fewer guys from the portal with the new 105 roster thing, or?
Yeah, probably. I don't even know where we're at on that. But because we're trying to fill some specific needs, and once we fill those needs, we'll figure out where that number's at, because it's kind of a rolling number, and this is anticipating everything's going to go through on April 7th, 8th, 9th, whenever that is, and that's still kind of the thought, but I don't know. They may change their mind on it too.
You've mentioned the window a few times, the portal window, and I think I probably know the answer to this question, but do you have sort of an ideal time of when that would start? Or
I do, and a lot of us coaches do. They're just not really asking us. I wish we could have the coaches help decide this. We have such a small voice. We're the ones with boots on the ground. We're the ones that deal with this on a day-to-day basis, and they adjusted some of the portal stuff in August. I know not a lot of coaches were a part of that because we had fall camp going, and then it went to the D1 Council in October, and there's not coaches on that one. We just got to get coaches involved, and I'm not saying we should have the only say. I don't want to do that because I know that wouldn't go over well anyway. But coaches need to be a part of it, and we've got a great president of the AFCA in Craig Bull, and Craig needs to be in on way more of these things, and I know he's trying to be, and bring some of us that are on his board and some of us that have been in the profession for decades upon decades and have seen how it's changed. And it's changed a lot, and it continues to change. The game on the field is awesome. It's really good. I think it's healthy for the 60 minutes in between the lines. It's not very healthy. I think we all can admit it's not very healthy off the field. And my only hope is they bring us coaches and let us have more of a voice, not the only voice, but more of a voice, so that, because we have some really good thoughts and ideas that we'd love to have them be heard.
Can I ask another uniform question?
Okay.
Has superstition played a role in why you guys haven't switched things up more?
No, I think we had this conversation a couple years ago. I think we did. I vividly remember most of our press conference in here because I play them back quite often. No, some of it is ability and quantity to have this stuff too, meaning I laugh at the lavender helmet or jersey concept. That can't happen unless you have like a 12-month, to make these things. My brother's in the uniform business, and if I told him I needed 125 lavender jerseys, even if I'd have said it like on August 1st for a bowl game here, he'd have laughed at me and said, good luck to you, because he gets phone calls probably more than I do on different topics, but one is, where's my uniforms? So that's a big part of it. And trust me, before I made the decision on this, I quickly called Al Serby and said, Al, how are we doing on this stuff? I think some of the attrition has helped us be able to have enough numbers for white pants and white helmets, because it doesn't happen just overnight on stuff.
And I don't know, I guess a more serious note. I was curious, when you think back to the season that was, statistically, you guys offensively were humming for about 8 games and then kind of hit a wall.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, have you pinpointed a reason for that? Anything in your mind?
I haven't, and I know that if you'd bring the offensive staff in here, they would maybe pinpoint it a little bit more. I'd give you the same. Once that season ended, there's a lot of things that I want to continue to look at and see how we're doing things schematically and so forth. You just don't have time right now, and that's unfortunate. Meaning, let's say we were going to change and run the wishbone. You can't do it in bowl prep. If you want to change everything on defense, you can't do it because you don't have enough time in bowl prep. I'm not saying we're doing those things. It's not the time probably with everything else that we have going on, from the signing period with the high school kids in December to immediately into keeping guys, losing guys in the portal, to bringing more guys in to try and to do a lot. You don't have time to probably look at some of the issues that we know we've got to fix. I'm not dodging the question, Kellis. We have to be better in situations on offense for sure. We got to be better in certain situations on defense as well. And we'll take a deep dive into those things probably in February after we're on the road the whole month of January. There's not many breaks right now. It's been a lot of fun. Oh, Arnie. Let's get another uniform question, Arnie.
I can help you there. Just kind of curious about Rutgers. For one thing, how difficult is it to scout when there is the uncertainty with the portal?
Yeah.
And
I love it. We get a bowl game question. I know, exactly right. Greg Schaun is a phenomenal football coach. So much respect for him. I have not had the chance to meet him yet. I'm excited about that because of just the respect I have for him. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to be physical. They're not going to beat themselves. And I'm sure they're going through the same things of whether it's injuries, and I know they've had a boatload of injuries this year, to trying to play some young guys, to maybe a kid deciding if he's going into the NFL. I don't know where they're at on those situations. That makes it a little bit more difficult prep. But I know this, our guys were really excited the fact that we were going to get to play a Big Ten school. Whether that was an SEC or Big Ten school, it landed for us in the Rate Bowl. And did somebody tell me this? This is the only Big Ten, Big 12 matchup in bowl games? Okay, I'm glad you guys brought that to my attention rather than me bringing it to – but that is the only one, right? So that's pretty neat, I think. And I know that it's going to be challenging. It's going to be a physical football game. And it'll be unique within the game plans, Arnie, of how much – how creative both sides can be on both sides of the ball and on special teams with the limited time that you have. And I think it's going to be a pretty much a fundamental game and who can get off blocks and who can make guys miss and who can tackle and all the fun things. But this will be a great test for us.